What if your entire life changed after one unexpected meeting? What if everything you thought you knew about your future suddenly flipped upside down in a moment that felt like fate? That's exactly what happened when Elon Musk met Emily Parker, a girl genius nobody saw coming. It all began on a brisk autumn evening in San Francisco at a high-profile technology conference filled with the world's brightest minds, flashing lights, and hopeful entrepreneurs. The atmosphere was electric with ideas and ambition, but little did anyone know the real spark of the night would come from a quiet corner where Emily stood clutching a small, mysterious prototype wrapped in worn cloth. Elon, always searching for the next revolution, was drawn to the odd mixture of nerves and confidence she carried. His curiosity ignited as he approached her booth, his mind racing with questions. "What's this you've got here?" he asked, eyes locked on the device. Emily hesitated, then smiled faintly and said, "It's a new kind of energy converter. It could change everything about how we use power." The words hung in the air like a challenge and a promise all at once. Elon's expression shifted from skepticism to intrigue. The crowd buzzed around them, but at that moment, it was just the two of them in a bubble of discovery. The question hovered, could this girl genius, hidden from the world's spotlight until now, really pull off what seemed impossible? Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? This question wasn't just for the crowd, it was for Emily herself, who'd spent her life pushing against the odds. Born in a small Rust Belt town where factories once thrived but now stood silent, Emily grew up watching the slow decay of opportunity around her. Raised by her mother, a hardworking nurse who juggled two jobs, Emily learned early that nothing in life was handed on a silver platter. Her father left when she was young, a ghost in her memory, a source of both pain and unanswered questions. Despite the hardships, Emily found solace in the humming of machines and the glow of her computer screen. While other kids played outside, she tinkered in the cramped garage behind their modest home, piecing together gadgets from scraps, dreaming of something bigger. Her love for science was not nurtured in classrooms full of encouragement but in moments stolen after homework was done, in quiet nights when the house was still. At school, her brilliance was a double-edged sword. Teachers were often amazed but some peers were not kind, dismissing her as that weird science girl. The struggle was not just academic but social, a lonely battle to be taken seriously. When Emily earned a scholarship to a state university, it was a triumph shadowed by new challenges, being the only woman in advanced engineering classes, fighting for recognition in a male-dominated world, balancing part-time jobs to keep herself afloat. There she met Dr. Lisa Hernandez, a tenured professor who became both mentor and friend, believing in Emily's potential when others didn't. Lisa's encouragement was a lifeline, pushing Emily to apply for grants and pitch her ideas. But funding was scarce, and skepticism ran deep. Emily's invention, an energy converter designed to dramatically increase efficiency while using environmentally friendly materials, was revolutionary, but the tech world can be ruthless. Investors dismissed her as too inexperienced, her presentations met with polite nods but empty checkbooks. Still, she refused to give up. When Elon Musk entered her life, it was like a whirlwind. His reputation as a disruptor matched Emily's own hunger for change. But with opportunity came new battles. Rival inventors, jealous of the attention Emily received, spread rumors that her device was a copycat, that her data was flawed. Worse, anonymous threats arrived, warning her to back off or face consequences. One night, her lab was sabotaged, equipment destroyed, prototypes stolen. The weight of failure pressed down, threatening to crush the spark that had kept her going. Just when hope seemed thin, Elon and his team stepped in, offering resources, protection, and expertise. The tension was palpable, Emily grappled with trust, wary of being overshadowed or used. Then came the pivotal moment, a high-stakes demonstration of her invention in front of potential partners. The prototype, her life's work, failed spectacularly under pressure, flames flickering where smooth energy flow should have been. Despair clawed at her, but Elon's calm reassurance kept her grounded. Every failure is a step closer to success, he said. Together, they embarked on a journey across the country, testing and refining the technology. The story unfolded across glowing factory floors, harsh desert test sites, and quiet nights filled with endless calculations and heated debates. Emily's resolve deepened as she witnessed the world through Elon's eyes, part dreamer, part relentless engineer. Their relationship was complex, sometimes mentor and protege, sometimes sparring partners, occasionally something more unspoken. Along the way, Emily confronted her own demons, the betrayal of old friends, the echo of her father's absence, the loneliness beneath the spotlight. Then, the news broke, a corporate espionage scandal designed to destroy Emily's credibility. Faced with an ethical dilemma, she had to decide whether to fight back publicly and risk everything or protect her secret weapon and hope justice prevailed. The pressure mounted until one emotional night when Emily and Elon shared their vulnerabilities in a rare moment of honesty. Tears and truths flowed, renewing their bond and fueling her fight. With a new breakthrough, Emily unveiled a radical modification that could revolutionize energy storage. The tide began to turn as public opinion shifted, skeptics silenced by undeniable results. But just as victory seemed close, betrayal struck again, this time from someone she trusted most. The pain was raw, but so was her strength. Drawing on lessons from her past, Emily refused to be broken. In a daring field test under extreme conditions, she led her team to prove the technology's worth. Unexpected allies emerged, including a figure from Elon's own past who brought experience and support. At the Global Tech Summit, Emily's invention worked flawlessly, stunning the crowd into silence before erupting into applause. Her speech was not just about technology but about perseverance, innovation, and the power of community. The media frenzy transformed her from underdog to symbol of hope and possibility. Reconciliation with estranged family members added layers of closure and reflection. Emily's journey from a struggling girl in a forgotten town to a confident leader taught her, and the world, valuable lessons about trust, resilience, and the impact of daring to dream. Life is full of surprises, but courage and connection will always lead the way, she said. As the story closes, one question remains: what if one chance encounter can rewrite your story? What if that meeting, that spark, could leave everyone speechless? That, dear reader, is a story for another day. Emily Parker's story didn't begin in the bright lights of tech conferences or the buzzing world of innovation. It began in a place many had forgotten, a small Rust Belt town named Ashford, where the factories once hummed with life but now stood silent and crumbling. Emily was born into a world shaped by decline and quiet desperation, where the American dream seemed more like a distant echo than a reachable goal. Her mother, Claire Parker, was a nurse who worked long shifts at the local hospital, juggling 2 jobs to keep food on the table and keep the roof from falling in. Claire was a woman of fierce determination, the kind of person who could smile through exhaustion and still find time to encourage her daughter's wild dreams. But the shadow over their small family was the absence of Emily's father, James, who had walked out when Emily was just 5 years old. The memories of him were hazy and painful, a voice raised in anger, promises broken, and a door slamming shut on a little girl who didn't understand why her world had changed overnight. That absence shaped Emily more than she could realize at the time. It planted seeds of both longing and wariness deep inside her heart. She learned early on that trust was fragile and that sometimes, the people you counted on the most could disappear without warning. Despite the emotional storms at home, Emily found refuge in the mechanical world. From the moment she could hold a screwdriver, she was captivated by how things worked, how tiny parts fit together to create something powerful. Her sanctuary was the cramped garage behind their modest house, filled with old gadgets, broken appliances, and the smell of motor oil. Hours slipped by as she took apart radios, rebuilt lawnmowers, and taught herself the language of circuits and code. School was a different kind of battlefield. At Ashford High, Emily's brilliance set her apart, but not always in ways she welcomed. She was the only girl in advanced math and physics classes, and her classmates often treated her like an outsider. Whispers and sideways glances followed her in hallways. Teachers praised her intelligence but sometimes dismissed her social awkwardness with a sigh. It was lonely, but Emily was used to fighting alone. Her mother's sacrifices weighed on her. She knew every late night Claire worked meant less time and energy for anything else. Money was tight, and the thought of college seemed like a luxury. Still, Emily's passion burned bright. She devoured books on engineering and renewable energy, dreaming of one day building something that could change the world, something that could breathe life back into places like Ashford. When she won a state scholarship to attend the nearby university, it was a victory that felt like a lifeline. The campus was a world apart from Ashford, full of ambition, technology, and students who often seemed a lot more privileged than she was. Emily struggled to fit in. The professors were demanding, the competition fierce, and the culture subtly biased. She faced skepticism from classmates who assumed her ideas were naive or that she was only there because of her scholarship, not because she deserved it. Yet she found allies, too. One of the most important was Dr. Lisa Hernandez, a brilliant engineer and professor who recognized Emily's potential immediately. Lisa was a mentor in every sense of the word, patient, encouraging, and unafraid to challenge Emily to push beyond her limits. Under Lisa's guidance, Emily began developing the concept for her energy converter. Lisa taught her not just the technical skills but how to navigate the complex world of research funding, patents, and presentations. But even with mentorship, Emily's path was far from easy. She worked multiple part-time jobs, tutoring, delivering pizzas, anything she could find to pay for textbooks and rent. Sleepless nights became routine. Every success was hard-won. The invention itself was the result of years of painstaking work, a device designed to capture and store energy more efficiently than anything on the market, using new materials that were both eco-friendly and cost-effective. Emily believed it could revolutionize renewable energy, making it accessible to rural communities and struggling cities alike. She poured her heart into the prototype, often staying in the lab until dawn, soldering circuits and running simulations. But the real world was less forgiving than her experiments. Investors and venture capitalists dismissed her proposals with polite but firm rejections. Too risky, they said. Unproven technology. The rejection stung, but it was the whispered doubts, the sideways looks from some professors and peers, and the isolation that cut the deepest. Emily's confidence wavered but never broke. Every setback was met with renewed determination. She remembered her mother's words after a particularly tough week, "Emily, it's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up." Those words became her mantra. Even as she pushed forward, Emily's personal life remained tangled with unresolved pain. The absence of her father haunted her. Sometimes she wondered if he was proud, if he even knew what she was doing. Other times, she felt anger, a need to prove she didn't need him. Her mother, though loving and supportive, was guarded, reluctant to revisit old wounds. Family gatherings were tense, conversations filled with unspoken words. Despite this, Emily had formed a tight circle of friends on campus who believed in her. Among them was Marcus, a fellow engineering student whose easy humor and steady support balanced her intensity. Their friendship was one of the few places where Emily could let her guard down, laugh, and just be herself. It was Marcus who encouraged her to apply for the tech conference in San Francisco, where the story truly changed course. When Emily packed her prototype and boarded the bus west, she carried not just a device but years of hopes, fears, and sacrifices. The conference was a whirlwind of nerves and excitement. The vast halls buzzed with entrepreneurs pitching ideas, investors scouting for the next big thing, and media hunting stories. Emily felt out of place, overwhelmed by the scale and polish of the event. Yet, amid the chaos, her eyes kept returning to Elon Musk, a figure both intimidating and inspiring. When he stopped by her booth, their worlds collided in a moment of recognition, a spark that neither fully understood but both felt deeply. That meeting was the first step in a journey that would challenge Emily in ways she never imagined, forcing her to confront her past, test her limits, and redefine her future. But it all started in Ashford, in a little garage with a girl who refused to let her circumstances define her. That girl was Emily Parker, a genius not just in invention but in resilience, whose story was only just beginning. Emily's university years were a crucible of both brilliance and hardship, a period that tested every ounce of her strength and shaped her into the woman Elon Musk would come to recognize as a force of nature. Arriving on campus as a scholarship student from a fading town, she was immediately struck by the stark contrasts between her background and that of her peers. Many students had grown up in wealthy suburbs or attended prestigious prep schools. They moved through the halls with a confidence born of privilege that Emily sometimes envied and sometimes resented. The coursework was grueling, with professors who demanded perfection and little patience for mistakes. From advanced calculus to thermodynamics, every subject pushed her intellect to its limit. But what Emily found even more challenging was the culture. Engineering was a field dominated by men, and in many of her classes, she was the only woman. Some of her male classmates dismissed her ideas or talked over her during group projects. She learned quickly that talent alone wasn't always enough to be heard. It was frustrating and isolating, but Emily refused to shrink. Instead, she doubled down on her work, staying late in labs, reading extra materials, and attending seminars to deepen her understanding. Outside of class, she juggled part-time jobs, a campus library assistant, a barista at a nearby coffee shop, sometimes even helping clean labs, to make ends meet. Sleep was often a luxury, but she saw her sacrifices as investments in her future. It was during this time that she met Dr. Lisa Hernandez, an engineering professor whose reputation for cutting-edge research was matched only by her commitment to mentoring underrepresented students. Lisa immediately recognized Emily's talent and drive. Unlike others who saw Emily's background as a limitation, Lisa saw it as a strength, a source of unique perspective and grit. Their relationship blossomed quickly into one of trust and collaboration. Lisa challenged Emily to think bigger, to approach problems not just as technical puzzles but as opportunities to impact real lives. With Lisa's guidance, Emily began to focus her efforts on renewable energy, a field that combined her passion for invention with her desire to make a tangible difference. Together, they worked on designs for an energy converter that promised to increase efficiency while using materials that were sustainable and affordable. Lisa also helped Emily navigate the complicated process of applying for research grants, submitting papers to conferences, and protecting her intellectual property. Despite the support, Emily still faced skepticism from many quarters. Some professors questioned whether her ideas were practical. Investors dismissed her because she wasn't part of the typical startup circuit. Fellow students sometimes whispered that she was too idealistic or too intense. Yet, Emily found solace in a close-knit group of friends who shared her ambitions and struggles. Among them was Marcus, a mechanical engineering student whose humor and loyalty helped balance Emily's seriousness. He encouraged her not to be discouraged by setbacks and reminded her that her journey was worth every struggle. The lab where Emily spent countless hours was both sanctuary and battleground. Surrounded by blinking machines, whirring motors, and the scent of solder, she poured her heart into every circuit and every calculation. There were days when experiments failed spectacularly, when circuits fried or energy readings dropped to zero, but each failure was a lesson, a stepping stone. Overnight, she learned resilience in its rawest form. Emily's invention began to take shape as a compact device that could convert solar energy into a stable, storable form more efficiently than existing technologies. The potential was enormous: power for rural communities, for disaster zones, for places where energy infrastructure was unreliable. But turning concept into reality required money and credibility, neither of which came easily. Emily spent months preparing pitches for investors, refining presentations until every word was sharp and every slide told a compelling story. Yet, doors remained closed. "It's too risky," many said. "We don't see a clear market." The rejection stung, but Emily didn't let them define her. She remembered the quiet confidence her mother had shown through years of hardship and kept pushing forward. During one particularly hard semester, when she was juggling final projects, 2 jobs, and a sick mother, Emily considered giving up. But a late-night conversation with Lisa rekindled her fire. "You have something the world needs," Lisa said firmly. "Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." That belief propelled Emily through her last year of university. She graduated with honors, a rare feat for someone with her background and obstacles. But more importantly, she had created a working prototype of her energy converter and filed for a patent. Graduation brought a mix of relief and anxiety. The real world was waiting, and it was far less forgiving than academia. Emily's relationships outside of school were a source of both strength and challenge. Marcus remained a steadfast friend, always ready with encouragement and a joke to lighten the mood. But romantic relationships were complicated. Emily found it hard to trust, her past pain and present pressures forming invisible barriers. At times, she felt isolated even in a crowded room. Family ties were strained. Her mother was proud but worried about Emily's relentless drive. They often clashed over the sacrifices Emily made, the time spent away from home, the risks she took. Meanwhile, the absence of her father loomed large. Every success was bittersweet without him there to witness it. Emily carried that complex mixture of pride and pain deep inside her, fueling her determination but also shaping her fears. Then came the invitation to the San Francisco Tech Conference, a chance to step onto a bigger stage. Emily saw it as a breakthrough opportunity, but also a daunting challenge. She would be surrounded by the brightest minds and most powerful players in the tech world, many of whom might dismiss her as just another unknown girl with a wild idea. Preparing for the conference consumed her. She perfected her pitch, packed her prototype carefully, and rehearsed answers to every possible question. The night before she left, her mother gave her a small, worn notebook filled with handwritten notes and encouragement. "For when you feel lost," Claire said softly. At the conference, Emily faced a whirlwind of emotions: excitement, anxiety, hope, and fear. When Elon Musk appeared at her booth, the moment felt surreal. He was everything the world imagined him to be. Confident, intense, brilliant, but there was also a spark of curiosity and respect in his eyes. Their conversation was brief but electric. Elon asked questions no one else had, listened to her ideas without interruption, and challenged her to think bigger. That encounter marked the beginning of a journey that would test every part of Emily's character. It was a chance to turn dreams into reality, but also a trial by fire, exposing her to rivalry, betrayal, and the harsh glare of the spotlight. Emily's story was far from over. The girl who grew up in a fading town, fighting to be seen and heard, was now standing on the edge of something extraordinary. What happened next would change not just her life but the future of energy itself. The days following the tech conference unfolded like a storm for Emily Parker. After her initial encounter with Elon Musk, the world she had been cautiously building suddenly expanded in ways she could barely grasp. The energy converter prototype, once a solitary project in a small lab, now found itself the center of intense scrutiny, curiosity, and expectation. Elon had invited her to join his innovation team for a collaborative research phase, a chance to refine the technology with the resources of Tesla and SpaceX behind her. It was a breathtaking opportunity, and a terrifying one. Leaving behind the familiar, Emily moved to Palo Alto, stepping into a world of gleaming offices, high-stakes meetings, and relentless deadlines. The campus was a maze of innovation hubs, buzzing with engineers, programmers, and visionaries all working toward what felt like impossible goals. The energy was intoxicating, but the pressure was immense. Emily was no longer the lone genius tinkering in a garage. She was part of a team, accountable to investors, stakeholders, and a media spotlight that had begun to glare sharply. The initial days were a whirlwind of introductions, technical briefings, and strategy sessions. Elon was everywhere, moving between teams, pushing boundaries, demanding excellence. Emily found his intensity both inspiring and exhausting. She quickly learned that in this world, ideas alone were not enough. Communication, negotiation, and politics played just as big a role. As Emily settled into her new role, old challenges resurfaced in new forms. Rival teams within the company eyed her project with suspicion and competitive wariness. Some saw her as an outsider, a girl who had come from nowhere and suddenly received more attention than deserved. Anonymous critiques appeared in internal memos, questioning the viability of her technology and the accuracy of her data. Rumors began to circulate that her invention was untested or even plagiarized. It was a modern-day trial by fire, where skepticism and sabotage lurked behind polite smiles. But Emily refused to let the doubt consume her. Drawing on every lesson from her past, she focused on the work, running simulations, testing prototypes, analyzing failures and successes. The lab became her refuge once again, a place where she could lose herself in circuits and energy flows. Elon, surprisingly, became one of her strongest allies. Despite his demanding nature, he showed faith in her vision and often stayed late, brainstorming solutions, pushing the team harder. He shared stories of his own battles and setbacks, reminding Emily that failure was often the path to breakthrough. One pivotal moment came when Emily's prototype underwent a critical field test at a remote desert site. The goal was to prove the device's efficiency under extreme conditions, intense heat, dust, and fluctuating energy inputs. The test was grueling. Early on, the system overheated, causing temporary shutdowns. For hours, Emily and the team worked around the clock, troubleshooting circuits and adjusting components. The desert sun beat down mercilessly, sweat stinging their eyes. Just as hope seemed to fade, the device stabilized, surpassing expected performance metrics by a surprising margin. The triumph was electric, proof that the invention could withstand the harshest realities, not just ideal lab conditions. News of the successful test leaked to the press, sparking excitement and renewed interest from investors and environmental groups. Emily was thrust into interviews and panels, a role she was still learning to navigate. Public attention was thrilling but draining. Every word she spoke was analyzed, every detail scrutinized. She was no longer just a scientist but a symbol, of innovation, of perseverance, of hope for a cleaner future. But as the spotlight grew, so did the shadows. The more successful Emily's invention appeared, the more aggressive the opposition became. Corporate rivals launched smear campaigns, accusing her of exaggeration or fraud. Social media trolls attacked her personally, digging into her background and questioning her character. Worse still, threats began to arrive, anonymous emails warning her to abandon the project or face consequences. The weight of these attacks threatened to crush her spirit. For the first time since she'd embarked on this journey, Emily felt isolated and vulnerable. Elon and his team increased security measures, but the emotional toll was undeniable. Late nights found Emily alone in her apartment, scrolling through harsh comments and wondering if the price of innovation was too high. Through it all, one relationship remained a constant source of strength: Marcus, her college friend and confidant. Though miles apart, their bond held steady. Marcus reminded her of who she was beneath the noise: a brilliant mind, a fighter, a dreamer. "You're not alone," he told her during one of their long phone calls. "You're the reason this tech exists. Don't let the haters win." His words were a lifeline. Emily found herself leaning more on the small circle of trusted allies: Lisa Hernandez, who offered wise counsel, members of Elon's team who believed in the project, and Marcus, who kept her grounded in moments of doubt. As months passed, Emily's work shifted from pure invention to preparing for a monumental presentation at the Global Energy Summit, where she would demonstrate the energy converter's capabilities to an audience of industry leaders, scientists, and media. The stakes were enormous. Success could catapult her technology into mass production and reshape the energy landscape forever. Failure could mean the end, not just of her career but of her dreams. The weeks leading up to the summit were a blur of testing, refining, and rehearsing. Emily's team faced one technical setback after another: data inconsistencies, hardware malfunctions, software glitches. Each time, they regrouped, learned, and pushed forward. The climax came days before the event when a critical component failed during a full system test, sending the prototype into a dangerous overload. The lab erupted into chaos. Emily's heart pounded as she coordinated emergency repairs, her mind racing through every possible fix. The tension was palpable, the entire project hung in the balance. In that crisis, a surprising ally stepped forward, Nathan Green, a senior engineer with a reputation for brilliant problem-solving but little patience for politics. Nathan's expertise and calm under pressure proved invaluable. Together, Emily and Nathan devised a workaround that not only fixed the immediate problem but improved the system's efficiency beyond initial projections. The breakthrough reignited hope within the team. At the summit, Emily stood on stage, the prototype humming behind her like a living testament to years of struggle and sacrifice. The auditorium was packed with skeptics and supporters alike. Cameras flashed as she began her presentation, her voice steady but filled with passion. She spoke not just about the technology but about the journey, the obstacles overcome, the importance of sustainable energy, the promise of a future where clean power was accessible to all. Then came the demonstration. Lights dimmed, and the converter powered up, smoothly channeling energy to light up a complex array of devices on stage. The crowd watched in rapt silence as the system operated flawlessly, exceeding expectations. The applause was thunderous. For a moment, Emily allowed herself to believe that she had crossed the finish line. But the journey was far from over. Behind the scenes, power plays intensified. An old friend turned rival revealed plans to file a patent dispute, claiming prior ownership of key components. Media narratives shifted, questioning the originality of Emily's work. And in a devastating personal blow, Marcus revealed he was moving abroad for a job opportunity, leaving Emily to face the next chapter without her closest ally nearby. Yet Emily refused to be defeated. The trials had forged a resilience that no setback could break. She doubled down on innovation, refining her technology and rallying her team. Elon's mentorship remained a beacon, pushing her to think bigger, move faster, and hold on to her vision. As Emily prepared for the next phase, a plan to scale the energy converter for global deployment, she understood that her story was not just about invention but about courage, trust, and the power of relentless hope. The girl from Ashford had stepped onto the world stage, carrying the weight of dreams far greater than herself. And while the path ahead was uncertain and fraught with challenges, Emily was ready. Because she knew one thing for sure, true innovation was born in the heart of struggle, and sometimes, the most unexpected journeys lead to the most extraordinary destinations. The legal battle hit Emily like a thunderbolt. Just weeks after the Global Energy Summit, her world was shaken by a patent infringement lawsuit filed by a major corporation claiming that the core technology behind her energy converter was stolen from their confidential research. The claim was not only damaging but devastatingly credible. This was a company with deep pockets, top-tier lawyers, and a long history of fighting to protect its intellectual property. Overnight, Emily's invention was under siege. Headlines questioned her integrity, investors hesitated, and even some of her team wavered. The stress was relentless, pressing down on her like a physical weight. Every waking moment was consumed by the legal fight, the technical defenses, the media fallout. Yet Emily refused to buckle. Drawing strength from the same fire that had carried her through every obstacle before, she plunged into the battle with fierce determination. Her legal team, led by Lisa Hernandez's contacts, gathered every piece of evidence, from lab notebooks to email correspondence, to prove the originality of Emily's work. They meticulously documented every stage of development, every experimental test, every moment when the invention had been refined in her hands. The fight wasn't just legal, it was personal. Emily felt the shadows of doubt creeping into her mind, questioning whether all her sacrifices had been in vain. But then she remembered her mother's words, the notebook of encouragement, the sacrifices of her youth, the years of grinding away in obscurity. She wasn't just fighting for a patent, she was fighting for a future where her ideas could change the world. Meanwhile, Elon Musk remained a steadfast supporter, using his influence to counter the narrative and rally public opinion. He publicly endorsed Emily's invention as groundbreaking and original, calling the lawsuit a tactic to stifle innovation. His involvement brought more media attention and polarized the debate even further. As the lawsuit dragged on, Emily's life became a delicate balance between court appearances, intense work sessions in the lab, and moments of rare but necessary rest. She learned to compartmentalize the chaos, focusing on small victories, each successful test, each positive report from her legal team, as fuel to keep going. It was during this period that a surprising turn of events took place. Nathan Green, the senior engineer who had been so critical in the last crisis, reached out to Emily with a proposal. He had discovered irregularities in the rival company's patent applications, signs of misrepresentation and possible fraud. His findings suggested that the lawsuit could be overturned if the evidence was presented correctly. This discovery reignited hope. Together, Emily and Nathan dived into an exhaustive investigation, uncovering documents and testimony that cast doubt on the rivals' claims. Their work became a race against time as the court date approached. The emotional toll was intense. Emily's relationship with Marcus suffered further as the distance grew and the pressures mounted. Late-night conversations became less frequent, and when they happened, were tinged with frustration and sadness. Marcus struggled to understand the world Emily inhabited now, a world of cutthroat competition, relentless scrutiny, and uncertain loyalties. The loneliness crept in like a cold fog, but Emily refused to let it cloud her resolve. The day of the court hearing arrived with all the weight of a historic battle. The courtroom was packed with reporters, industry figures, and legal experts. Emily's heart raced as she took the stand, presenting her testimony with clarity and passion. She spoke not only about the invention but about her journey, the long nights, the sacrifices, the hope that had carried her from Ashford to this moment. Nathan's findings were introduced as crucial evidence, shaking the foundation of the rival's case. The judge listened carefully, weighing the facts and testimonies. When the verdict finally came, it was a stunning victory for Emily. The lawsuit was dismissed, the rival company's claims discredited. The courtroom erupted in murmurs of disbelief and relief. For Emily, it was more than a legal win, it was validation of every sacrifice and every moment of doubt. The aftermath brought a surge of support from investors and environmental advocates. The energy converter project gained new momentum, and plans for mass production accelerated. But the battle had left scars. Emily felt the exhaustion deep in her bones, the emotional toll lingering like a shadow. She realized that victory was not a destination but a milestone in an ongoing journey. In the wake of the trial, Emily's relationship with Elon deepened. Their collaboration evolved beyond technology into mentorship and friendship. Elon admired Emily's resilience and vision, often sharing insights about leadership and the importance of maintaining a clear purpose amid chaos. One evening, during a late-night brainstorming session in the Tesla design studio, Elon turned to Emily and said, "You're not just an inventor. You're a pioneer. This world needs people who can push boundaries and endure the storm." Those words resonated deeply. Emily began to see herself not just as a scientist or a woman fighting for recognition but as a leader poised to reshape the future. As the energy converter project moved toward commercialization, Emily faced new challenges: scaling production, managing a growing team, and navigating the complex politics of industry and government. Each step demanded skills beyond engineering, diplomacy, strategic thinking, and a capacity to inspire others. It was a transformation that tested her identity and pushed her to grow. Throughout this time, Emily never lost sight of the people who had supported her: her mother, whose unwavering belief had been a guiding light; Lisa Hernandez, whose mentorship had opened doors; Marcus, whose friendship remained a source of comfort despite distance; and Elon, whose faith in her had been a powerful catalyst. These relationships grounded her and reminded her that success was not just about technology but about connection and trust. The emotional climax of this chapter came when Emily visited her hometown of Ashford for the first time since her rise to prominence. Walking through the streets where she had grown up, she was struck by how much had changed, and how much had stayed the same. The faded buildings, the quiet neighborhoods, the familiar faces, they all carried memories of a simpler time and a harder struggle. Emily was invited to speak at the local community center, sharing her story with young students and aspiring innovators. Her message was clear: no matter where you come from, no matter the obstacles, your dreams are valid and your voice matters. The event was filled with hope and emotion, a testament to the power of perseverance. As she looked out at the eager faces, Emily felt a profound sense of fulfillment and purpose. The journey had been long and difficult, but it was far from over. Returning to Palo Alto, Emily carried with her a renewed commitment to innovation, to leadership, and to making a difference. She understood that true success was measured not only in patents or profits but in the lives touched and the barriers broken. The story of the girl genius who met Elon Musk had taken unexpected turns, but through every trial, Emily had remained steadfast. And as she prepared for the next chapter, one filled with new ventures, greater challenges, and the promise of transformation, she knew one thing for certain: the world was watching, and she was ready to lead. The months following Emily's triumphant return from Ashford brought a new phase of challenges that tested her not only as an inventor but as a leader. The energy converter project had moved past proof of concept and was gearing up for mass production. The Tesla factory floors, usually humming with the assembly of electric cars, now echoed with the sounds of a new kind of innovation, the intricate components of Emily's device being manufactured at scale. Managing this transition from lab prototype to full-scale product was a formidable task. Emily found herself navigating a complex web of supply chains, quality controls, and deadlines. Every delay, every defect, threatened to undermine the credibility she had fought so hard to build. It was a world where precision mattered in a new way, not just in the design of circuits but in the orchestration of an entire industrial symphony. Elon's influence was unmistakable, but Emily was determined to make sure her vision was preserved. She insisted on rigorous testing and refused to cut corners, even when executives pressured her to speed up delivery. The tension between innovation and commercialization was palpable, and Emily learned quickly how to balance idealism with pragmatism. One of the biggest hurdles was recruiting the right talent to support the project's rapid expansion. Emily personally interviewed dozens of engineers, scientists, and technicians. She looked for more than just skills; she sought people who shared her passion for clean energy and her resilience in the face of adversity. Slowly, she built a team that felt like a family, bonded by a shared mission and trust. Among the new recruits was Jasmine Lee, a brilliant materials scientist whose innovative ideas for improving the converter's durability promised to push the technology even further. Jasmine's enthusiasm was infectious, and her presence reinvigorated the lab atmosphere. Together, Emily and Jasmine brainstormed new applications for the energy converter: imagine powering remote villages without access to the grid or revolutionizing disaster relief with portable clean energy solutions. The potential seemed limitless. However, not all new developments were positive. The pressures of scaling production brought internal conflicts to the surface. Some team members grew frustrated with the painstaking pace of quality assurance, arguing for shortcuts to meet deadlines. Others worried about the increasing media attention and the risk it posed to their privacy and mental health. Emily found herself mediating disputes, balancing competing priorities, and maintaining morale. Her leadership skills were put to the test daily. One evening, after a particularly heated meeting, Emily retreated to her office, overwhelmed by the weight of responsibility. She realized that to lead effectively, she needed to cultivate patience and empathy. Qualities she had always valued but had been overshadowed by urgency and drive. Drawing on her mother's lessons and Elon's mentorship, she began to foster a culture of open communication and support within the team. She encouraged vulnerability as a strength and celebrated small wins as well as big ones. Outside the factory walls, Emily's personal life remained complicated. Marcus's move overseas had created a distance that neither time nor technology could fully bridge. Their conversations grew infrequent, and when they did talk, the gaps between their worlds felt insurmountable. Emily grappled with feelings of loss and loneliness but refused to let them distract her from her mission. Instead, she poured herself into building new friendships and support networks in Palo Alto. One such friendship blossomed unexpectedly with Rachel Brooks, a journalist covering clean energy innovations. Rachel's curiosity and integrity impressed Emily, and their conversations ranged from technical details to the ethical implications of technology. Through Rachel's reporting, Emily's story reached wider audiences, inspiring a new generation of young women interested in STEM fields. Yet with increasing fame came new challenges. At a high-profile industry gala, Emily encountered a group of influential executives who questioned her credibility, making thinly veiled remarks about her youth and gender. The encounter was a stark reminder that the biases she had faced since childhood still lingered in powerful circles. Instead of retreating, Emily confronted these challenges head-on. She spoke publicly about the importance of diversity and inclusion in innovation, using her platform to advocate for change. Her message resonated deeply, earning her both admirers and detractors. But Emily welcomed the dialogue, knowing that progress often came with discomfort. A turning point arrived when Jasmine discovered a breakthrough in the materials used for the converter's core components. The new composite material not only improved efficiency but dramatically reduced costs, making the technology more accessible. This discovery sparked renewed excitement and optimism within the team. Emily saw the tangible impact of collaboration and trusted that their collective efforts could overcome any obstacle. As production ramped up, the first batch of energy converters was shipped to pilot locations around the world. Emily personally oversaw the deployment in a remote village in sub-Saharan Africa, a community long plagued by energy scarcity. The experience was profoundly moving. Watching families light their homes for the first time with clean, reliable energy, Emily felt the true weight of her work. It wasn't just about patents or profits, it was about changing lives. This moment crystallized her purpose, reminding her why every setback had been worth it. Back in the US, Emily's leadership was further tested when a major technical failure occurred during a field trial. A batch of converters malfunctioned due to an unforeseen environmental factor, causing temporary blackouts in a test community. The setback attracted media criticism and prompted an urgent recall. The pressure was immense, but Emily refused to be defeated. She took full responsibility publicly and led her team through an intensive investigation and redesign. The process was grueling but ultimately strengthened the product and the team's resolve. Through it all, Elon's words echoed in her mind: true innovation is about persistence, not perfection. The energy converter project had become more than a technology, it was a symbol of resilience and hope. As the year drew to a close, Emily reflected on the transformation she had undergone. From the shy girl tinkering in her childhood garage to the confident leader shaping the future of energy, her journey was a testament to the power of dreams fueled by determination. She understood that the road ahead would continue to be filled with challenges, but she was ready. Because she wasn't just building a machine, she was building a legacy. And in that legacy, she hoped to inspire others to believe that with passion, courage, and community, anything was possible. The following months brought a new wave of challenges that would test Emily's resolve in ways she hadn't anticipated. Scaling production was one thing, but maintaining integrity and innovation while facing growing corporate pressures was another entirely. Tesla's executive board, impressed by the energy converter's promise, began pushing for faster expansion and aggressive market capture. Investors were eager for profits, less patient with the painstaking care Emily insisted upon. Meetings grew tense as Emily clashed with executives who wanted to cut corners or fast-track releases without full testing. "We need to think about the bottom line," one senior VP reminded her bluntly during a heated discussion. Emily countered firmly, "If we compromise now, we risk the entire project's credibility. This technology has to work, not just sell." The battle wasn't just technical or financial, it was philosophical. Emily felt like a guardian of her creation, charged with protecting its potential from becoming just another commodity. Her leadership was challenged daily, forcing her to sharpen negotiation skills she had never thought she'd need. Meanwhile, Jasmine Lee's team continued innovating behind the scenes. Their work on advanced composite materials promised to revolutionize durability and efficiency, and Jasmine's breakthrough attracted interest from academic circles and potential partners. Emily knew that nurturing these relationships was key to staying ahead of competitors who were already attempting to replicate or improve upon the technology. Social media buzzed with news about Emily and the energy converter, sparking both admiration and criticism. Some praised her as a trailblazer disrupting the energy industry, others accused her of overhyping results or dismissing environmental risks. The polarized attention was a heavy burden, one Emily accepted as part of the price of visibility. Yet in quieter moments, she wrestled with self-doubt and exhaustion. Long nights in the lab were now punctuated by restless sleep and mounting pressure to be perfect. Friends grew concerned. Marcus reached out more often, offering support from afar, but Emily knew their relationship had fundamentally changed. Distance and diverging paths had created an emotional rift neither could easily bridge. The loneliness was tempered somewhat by new friendships. Rachel Brooks remained a trusted confidant, and Lisa Hernandez's steady guidance helped Emily stay grounded. At the same time, Elon Musk's mentorship deepened. Their conversations evolved from technical problem-solving to broader discussions about leadership, ethics, and legacy. One afternoon, Elon invited Emily to tour the SpaceX headquarters. Walking through the hangars filled with rockets and engineers, Emily felt the weight of possibility. Elon shared stories of setbacks and perseverance, launch failures that almost ended projects but ultimately fueled breakthroughs. Innovation is a roller coaster, he said. You have to learn to ride the highs and survive the lows. Inspired by this, Emily committed herself to resilience. She implemented weekly, check-in meetings with her team to discuss not just progress but challenges and feelings. The goal was to create a supportive environment that fostered creativity without burnout. It wasn't easy, but over time the culture began to shift. Team members started sharing ideas more openly and taking ownership of problems rather than passing blame. This change was tested when a sudden crisis hit. During the installation of the energy converter in a coastal city prone to hurricanes, an unexpected storm caused severe flooding. The site was damaged, and the technology malfunctioned during critical hours when energy was needed most. Media outlets pounced on the story, framing it as a failure of clean energy technology to deliver under pressure. Emily felt the sting of public criticism deeply. The setback threatened not only the project's reputation but also her team's morale. She gathered everyone in the lab the next morning, her voice steady but urgent. We can't control the storm, but we control how we respond. This is a test of our commitment and our creativity. Let's find solutions and come back stronger. Working around the clock, the team analyzed the failures and redesigned components to withstand extreme weather. The process was exhausting but united them in purpose. Emily's leadership during the crisis earned respect and renewed trust. In the months that followed, the upgraded converter successfully powered communities through severe weather events, transforming skeptics into advocates. This validation brought a fresh wave of excitement and opened doors to new partnerships with governments and NGOs focused on climate resilience. Despite professional victories, Emily's personal life remained complex. The distance from Marcus grew harder to ignore. Their last phone call was bittersweet. Marcus admitted that their paths were diverging too much, and while he cherished their history, he couldn't promise a shared future. Emily felt grief and acceptance entwined. To fill the void, she immersed herself in mentoring young women in STEM through outreach programs connected to Tesla and SpaceX. Seeing their passion and potential reminded her of her own beginnings and reignited hope. One memorable afternoon, Emily visited a local high school, speaking to a packed auditorium of students. She shared her story candidly, highlighting failures as well as successes, and urged them to persevere despite obstacles. The energy in the room was electric. Students flooded her with questions and gratitude afterward. This connection to community became a source of balance and meaning outside the high-pressure world of innovation. Meanwhile, Jasmine and her materials science team achieved another breakthrough. By developing a flexible, ultra-durable film that could be applied as a protective layer to the converters. They significantly extended the device's lifespan. This advancement was patented and marked a key milestone in product evolution. Emily ensured that Jasmine's contribution was publicly recognized, fostering a culture of credit and respect within the team. Meanwhile, a new threat emerged in the form of corporate espionage. Confidential project data was leaked, leading to rumors of stolen technology and possible sabotage. Security measures were tightened, and an internal investigation launched. The atmosphere became tense, trust fragile. Emily had to navigate not just technical and business challenges but the human complexities of suspicion and loyalty. Throughout this turmoil, Elon remained a sounding board. During one particularly stressful night, Emily called him, struggling with the weight of responsibility and fear of failure. Elon's reply was simple but profound: leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, even when you're scared. This mantra carried her forward. As the project entered its second year of mass production, the impact of the energy converter was undeniable. Communities around the world gained access to reliable, clean energy for the first time. Environmental groups hailed it as a game-changer in the fight against climate change. Yet Emily knew the journey was far from over. Scaling globally meant confronting complex political landscapes, diverse regulatory environments, and cultural differences. She prepared to lead delegations overseas, engaging with international leaders and advocating for sustainable energy policies. These diplomatic challenges added new layers to her role. Traveling to a United Nations climate summit, Emily presented the energy converter as a tool for equitable development. Her speech emphasized not just technology but humanity, the need to empower people and protect the planet simultaneously. The address was met with standing ovations and open channels for collaboration with global organizations. Despite the glamour and success, Emily remained grounded in the lessons of her past. She remembered the early days of doubt, the sacrifices of her family, the power of friendship and mentorship. Her story was no longer just about invention but about transformation, of herself, her community, and the world. As the chapter closed, Emily stood on a rooftop overlooking the city lights, reflecting on how far she'd come. The girl genius who once dreamed quietly in a small garage had become a leader shaping the future of energy. The journey had been marked by trials and triumphs, heartbreak and hope. And though the road ahead was uncertain, Emily was ready to face it, with courage, compassion, and an unshakable belief that even the smallest idea could change the world. The world was starting to recognize Emily not just as a brilliant inventor but as a visionary leader. Invitations to speak at global forums, panel discussions, and innovation conferences poured in. Each appearance was an opportunity to share her journey, advocate for clean energy, and inspire the next generation. Yet despite the acclaim, Emily remained acutely aware of the gap between recognition and real change. The energy converter was a breakthrough, but scaling its impact required navigating political, economic, and cultural complexities she had never faced before. Her first international trip was to Germany, where she met with leaders in renewable energy and environmental policy. The discussions were intense, often revealing deep divisions between progressives pushing for radical change and conservatives wary of disrupting established industries. Emily found herself mediating between competing interests, using data and passion to build bridges. She realized that innovation wasn't just about technology, it was about people and politics. In Berlin, she visited a community that had adopted early versions of the converter. Seeing the technology in action, powering homes and businesses without relying on fossil fuels, was a profound moment. The smiles on children's faces, the hum of daily life energized by clean power, it was proof that her work mattered beyond the lab or boardroom. Yet, she also witnessed the challenges: local bureaucracy, resistance from entrenched energy companies, and skepticism from some residents wary of change. Emily understood that technological solutions required social acceptance and systemic support to thrive. Returning to Palo Alto, she expanded her team to include policy experts and communications specialists. The goal was clear: to build a holistic strategy that combined innovation, advocacy, and education. This new approach brought fresh energy but also new conflicts. Some engineers worried that the focus on politics diluted the technical mission, while advocates felt the pace of change was too slow. Emily worked to balance these perspectives, emphasizing that sustainable progress required collaboration across disciplines. Meanwhile, Jasmine Lee's research group made another breakthrough, developing an eco-friendly recycling process for the converter's components. This advancement addressed critics concerned about the environmental footprint of manufacturing and disposal. Publicizing the innovation helped improve the project's image and attracted support from environmental organizations. At home, Emily grappled with the personal costs of her relentless schedule. She missed simple pleasures, weekend hikes, coffee with friends, quiet evenings. The pace left little room for relationships, and despite new friendships, she sometimes felt isolated. Marcus's absence was a persistent ache, a reminder of sacrifices made in pursuit of a larger dream. One particularly exhausting week, Emily received an unexpected message from her mother. Her health was declining, and she wanted Emily to come home. Torn between responsibilities, Emily booked a flight to Ashford. The reunion was emotional, her mother's strength remained, but the toll of years and illness was evident. They spoke long into the night, sharing memories and fears. Her mother's wisdom was a grounding force, reminding Emily that while ambition drove her forward, love and family were anchors in turbulent seas. Returning to California, Emily felt a renewed sense of purpose and balance. She restructured her schedule to prioritize well-being, delegating more and trusting her team. This shift improved her leadership and allowed her to reconnect with friends and mentors. The company culture grew stronger, emphasizing not just productivity but humanity. As the energy converter gained market share, competition intensified. Several tech giants unveiled rival devices, each claiming superior features or lower costs. The race to dominate the clean energy sector was fierce and public. Emily's team faced pressure to innovate faster, protect intellectual property, and maintain market trust. Legal battles over patents flared anew, forcing Emily to revisit courtroom strategies she thought were behind her. Yet, these challenges also galvanized the team's creativity and unity. They doubled down on research and customer engagement, refining the product based on real-world feedback. Through setbacks and breakthroughs, Emily's vision remained clear: clean energy should be accessible, reliable, and ethical. Internationally, Emily's diplomatic efforts began to bear fruit. Partnerships with developing nations led to pilot programs that adapted the energy converter to diverse environments, from tropical rainforests to arid deserts. Each deployment taught new lessons about flexibility and local involvement. Emily emphasized training and empowering local technicians, ensuring the technology didn't become dependent on external expertise. This approach won praise and established the energy converter as a model of sustainable innovation. One standout moment came during a visit to a coastal village in Southeast Asia, where a small community had used the converter to rebuild after devastating typhoons. Meeting villagers whose lives were transformed by clean energy brought tears to Emily's eyes. It was a reminder that technology was ultimately about human resilience and dignity. Back in the US, Emily continued to face scrutiny from media and critics. Some accused her of being overly ambitious or questioned her ability to balance leadership with personal life. Tabloids speculated about her relationships, and online forums debated her every move. Emily developed a thick skin but refused to let cynicism dull her passion. She embraced transparency, engaging openly with the public about challenges and setbacks. This authenticity won her a loyal following and reinforced her credibility. As the second year of large-scale production unfolded, Emily launched a mentorship initiative within her company, aimed at cultivating diverse talent and fostering innovation. She understood that her success was partly due to the mentors who had supported her, and she wanted to pay it forward. The program welcomed young women and underrepresented minorities, creating opportunities that Emily had once struggled to find. Watching participants grow and contribute to the project was deeply fulfilling. Near the end of the chapter, Emily faced a personal crossroads. Elon Musk invited her to join a new venture, an ambitious project aimed at integrating clean energy with space exploration. The idea was to develop sustainable energy solutions for future colonies on Mars and beyond. The prospect was thrilling but also daunting. It meant stepping beyond Earth's immediate challenges and embracing a frontier that few had dared to explore. Emily weighed the decision carefully, considering the impact on her company, her team, and herself. Ultimately, she accepted, viewing it as an extension of her mission to push the boundaries of possibility. The announcement generated excitement and speculation in the tech world. Emily found herself at the center of a new narrative, not just a genius inventor or clean energy advocate but a pioneer of humanity's next great leap. As the chapter closed, Emily stood once more on the rooftop of her Palo Alto office, looking up at the stars. The journey that had started in a small garage in Ashford had taken her farther than she'd ever imagined. The road ahead was uncertain and filled with challenges, but Emily felt ready. Because she knew that with vision, resilience, and a community of supporters, she could continue to turn dreams into reality, even those that seemed to belong to the stars. The invitation from Elon to join the space energy project was both exhilarating and overwhelming for Emily. The idea of applying clean energy technology beyond Earth's atmosphere stirred her imagination and sense of purpose, but it also meant leaving behind the company and community she had built with so much effort. She spent days weighing the decision, consulting trusted advisors, friends, and mentors. Elon's vision was bold, creating self-sustaining energy systems for lunar bases, Mars habitats, and spacecraft, systems that could revolutionize humanity's ability to explore and live beyond Earth. The challenge was enormous, combining cutting-edge physics, materials science, and engineering with the harsh realities of space environments. Emily knew her expertise in energy conversion could be crucial, but she also recognized the steep learning curve ahead. Finally, after much reflection, she accepted the role, determined to bring the same passion and precision to this frontier that had defined her work on Earth. Her transition was met with mixed reactions. Some colleagues expressed excitement and support, others worried about the potential distraction from the energy converter's commercial growth. Investors were skeptical, concerned about divided focus and the long timelines typical of space projects. Emily addressed these concerns head-on, emphasizing the complementary nature of the work and the potential to accelerate innovation across both domains. She communicated openly and often, reinforcing trust. As she immersed herself in the space project, Emily encountered new scientific puzzles. Radiation shielding, extreme temperature fluctuations, and energy storage in zero-gravity challenged established engineering principles. Collaborating with astrophysicists, aerospace engineers, and planetary scientists expanded her understanding and sparked fresh ideas. The interdisciplinary nature of the endeavor energized her. Long hours in clean rooms and simulation labs gave way to strategy sessions in conference rooms overlooking the launch pads at Cape Canaveral. Elon encouraged bold experimentation, urging Emily to push boundaries while remaining mindful of safety and sustainability. One of Emily's first breakthroughs involved adapting the energy converter's core technology to harness solar energy more efficiently in space. By integrating novel photovoltaic materials and heat dissipation systems, her team developed a prototype capable of operating in the harsh solar environment of orbit. This success generated momentum and attracted attention from NASA and private space companies. Public interest in the project surged, fueled by media coverage that framed it as a critical step toward humanity's future off Earth. Emily found herself balancing public appearances, technical leadership, and internal team dynamics. The stakes were higher than ever. Amid the excitement, Emily's personal life grew more complex. Distance from family and friends deepened, and the relentless pace left little room for rest or reflection. She leaned on Rachel Brooks for support, their friendship evolving through shared experiences and candid conversations about the pressures of public life. Rachel's journalistic insights helped Emily navigate media scrutiny and public expectations with greater ease. Despite the demands, Emily prioritized moments of calm whenever possible, a morning jog at sunrise, an occasional dinner with old friends, or a quiet call with her mother. These acts of self-care became vital for sustaining her energy and focus. The space energy project also brought new ethical considerations to the forefront. Emily grappled with questions about the implications of space colonization, resource extraction, and technological inequality. She advocated for principles of sustainability, equity, and transparency in the project's development, ensuring that the mission reflected values beyond profit or prestige. At a high-profile international conference, Emily delivered a keynote speech that resonated deeply. She spoke about the interconnectedness of Earth and space, the responsibility to protect both environments, and the hope that clean energy could be a unifying force for humanity's future. The speech was widely praised and positioned Emily as a thought leader in this emerging field. Back on the technical front, Emily's team faced setbacks. Early prototypes suffered from unexpected material fatigue, and simulations revealed vulnerabilities to micrometeoroid impacts. Each failure was a lesson, prompting redesigns and new collaborations. Emily encouraged her team to embrace failure as part of innovation, fostering a culture of resilience and creativity. As months passed, the project achieved milestones: successful tests of energy systems on the International Space Station, contracts with aerospace partners, and the development of modular units for lunar installations. Emily's leadership was critical in coordinating these efforts, bridging scientific disciplines and managing complex logistics. Meanwhile, the energy converter on Earth continued to expand its footprint. Emily maintained close ties with her original team, ensuring quality and innovation remained priorities. She was proud to see the technology powering hospitals, schools, and homes worldwide, a tangible legacy of her early work. Yet she remained mindful of the challenges that persisted: political hurdles, market fluctuations, and the ongoing need to inspire and educate. One evening, during a virtual meeting with the Palo Alto team, Emily was reminded of why she started. A young engineer shared a story about a family whose lives were transformed by the converter's energy, lighting the path out of poverty. The emotional weight of that testimony renewed Emily's commitment to harnessing technology for good. The chapter reached a poignant moment when Elon invited Emily to witness a rocket launch at Cape Canaveral. Standing on the observation deck, watching the fiery ascent into the sky, Emily felt a surge of awe and possibility. The launch symbolized not just technical achievement but humanity's relentless drive to explore and innovate. Reflecting on her journey. From a curious girl in Ashford to a leader on the cutting edge of Earth and space technology, Emily felt a deep sense of gratitude. The road had been arduous, filled with triumphs and setbacks, relationships gained and lost. But through it all, her purpose remained clear: to create a better future powered by ingenuity, compassion, and relentless curiosity. As the rocket disappeared into the sky, Emily looked up at the stars with hope and determination, ready for the next chapter of her extraordinary story. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Transitioning from Earth-bound energy innovation to the vast unknown of space exploration brought new challenges that tested Emily's skills and character like never before. The excitement of working alongside Elon Musk and the SpaceX team was tempered by the reality of long hours, high stakes, and the pressure to deliver results on a global stage. As she settled into her new role, Emily realized that leadership in this arena required not only technical brilliance but diplomatic savvy and emotional resilience. Early in the project, Emily led the design of a modular energy unit tailored for lunar habitats. The harsh lunar environment, with its extreme temperature swings, radiation, and abrasive dust, posed problems that pushed materials science and engineering to their limits. Collaborating with Jasmine Lee's materials team, Emily explored innovative composite materials and adaptive cooling systems. The process was iterative and often frustrating. Prototypes failed under simulated lunar conditions, forcing repeated redesigns. These technical hurdles required patience and perseverance, qualities Emily had honed through years of experience but now tested anew. Meanwhile, the team faced pressure from stakeholders eager for quick progress. Media scrutiny intensified, with some commentators questioning the feasibility and cost of space energy systems. Emily responded with transparency, sharing both challenges and successes, framing setbacks as learning opportunities. Her candid communication style helped maintain public trust and kept morale high within the team. As the project advanced, Emily took part in international space policy discussions, advocating for responsible use of extraterrestrial resources and collaboration among nations. She emphasized the importance of ethical frameworks guiding humanity's expansion beyond Earth, blending scientific innovation with social responsibility. These forums exposed her to diverse perspectives and the complexities of global governance, expanding her understanding beyond engineering. On a personal level, the relentless pace strained Emily's relationships. Distance from family, especially her mother's declining health, weighed heavily. She felt guilt for being far away but also recognized that her work held the potential to shape a better future for all generations. To balance these tensions, Emily prioritized moments of connection, video calls, handwritten letters, and occasional visits. The support of friends like Rachel Brooks and Lisa Hernandez provided emotional anchors amid the chaos. One pivotal moment occurred during a team expedition to a NASA testing facility in the Arizona desert. There, Emily witnessed the harsh conditions that lunar habitats would face firsthand. The scorching sun, vast emptiness, and technical rigs underscored the daunting reality of the mission. Walking through the test modules, Emily was struck by the human spirit's capacity to dream and endure. This experience deepened her resolve to create systems that were not only functional but life-affirming. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the original energy converter project achieved a major milestone: widespread adoption in remote communities lacking reliable power. Testimonials flooded in, families thriving with new opportunities, schools extending hours with light, clinics operating critical equipment. These stories motivated Emily's extended team and reinforced the technology's impact. However, competition and legal battles persisted. Rivals challenged patents, and misinformation campaigns aimed to discredit the technology. Emily engaged legal experts and public relations teams to protect the project's integrity. These struggles highlighted the intersection of innovation, business, and politics, a realm where technical merit alone was insufficient. Amid these pressures, Emily launched a corporate initiative focused on diversity and inclusion, recognizing that diverse perspectives were essential to creativity and problem-solving. The program included scholarships, internships, and mentorship for underrepresented groups in STEM fields. Emily's commitment inspired employees and attracted talent eager to contribute to a mission-driven organization. A breakthrough in the space energy project came when Emily's team successfully tested a prototype energy converter module aboard the International Space Station. This experiment validated key design elements under real microgravity conditions. The success was celebrated widely and opened avenues for further collaboration with NASA and international space agencies. The chapter's emotional core emerged during a personal crisis. Emily's mother suffered a stroke. The news hit Emily hard, forcing her to confront vulnerability and reassess priorities. She took a brief leave from the project to be by her mother's side in Ashford. This period of caregiving was bittersweet, filled with pain but also moments of deep connection and reflection. Emily's mother imparted final words of wisdom about resilience, love, and purpose that stayed with Emily long after returning to California. Reinvigorated by these lessons, Emily resumed her work with renewed clarity. She restructured her team to empower emerging leaders and delegated operational tasks to trusted deputies, allowing her to focus on strategic vision and innovation. As the project progressed toward lunar mission integration, Emily's leadership style evolved. She embraced vulnerability, fostering an environment where team members felt safe to voice concerns and experiment boldly. This cultural shift enhanced creativity and cohesion. At a global summit on space sustainability, Emily presented a comprehensive framework combining technology, ethics, and policy to ensure responsible extraterrestrial energy development. The proposal was lauded as visionary, earning endorsements from major space agencies and environmental organizations. The chapter concluded with Emily standing beneath a starlit sky, reflecting on the convergence of her personal and professional journeys. From the curious girl in Ashford to a leader shaping humanity's future in space, her story was one of transformation fueled by passion, perseverance, and profound connection. The challenges ahead were daunting, but Emily was ready, armed with knowledge, empathy, and an unyielding belief that innovation could illuminate even the darkest frontiers. The integration of Emily's clean energy technology into the upcoming Mars colonization missions marked a pivotal moment in both her career and humanity's journey beyond Earth. The stakes were enormous. The energy systems had to be reliable, sustainable, and adaptable to one of the harshest environments imaginable. Months of intensive testing in collaboration with NASA, SpaceX, and international partners culminated in a high-profile announcement that generated excitement and anticipation worldwide. Emily felt the weight of responsibility keenly. Every decision, from material selection to energy storage design, carried implications for the safety and survival of future Martian settlers. The project team operated under pressure unlike anything Emily had experienced before. The margin for error was virtually non-existent, and the timeline was unforgiving. Still, the collective passion and expertise of the team fueled remarkable progress. Early prototypes of the Mars energy units underwent rigorous simulation tests replicating Mars' thin atmosphere, temperature extremes, and dust storms. Failures were frequent and often frustrating, but each one brought new insights that refined the designs. Emily championed a culture that embraced these setbacks as essential steps toward breakthrough innovation. Communication became critical as the project scaled up. Emily found herself navigating complex logistics, regulatory hurdles, and international cooperation agreements. Coordinating across multiple time zones and organizational cultures was challenging, yet rewarding. The collaboration fostered a sense of shared purpose and unity among scientists, engineers, and policymakers. Emily's leadership shone in these moments, blending technical expertise with empathy and diplomacy. Outside the lab, Emily's personal life remained a delicate balance. The demands of the Mars project and the ongoing growth of her Earth-based energy company left little room for rest or relationships. However, she nurtured her friendship with Rachel Brooks, who continued to provide emotional support and perspective. Rachel's probing questions and candid feedback helped Emily stay grounded amidst the whirlwind of innovation and public attention. A turning point came during a visit to a Mars simulation habitat in Utah's desert. Living and working alongside astronauts and engineers for several weeks, Emily experienced firsthand the physical and psychological challenges of prolonged isolation and resource scarcity. This immersion deepened her understanding of user needs and the human element often overlooked in engineering. The experience influenced key design decisions, ensuring the energy systems would be user-friendly, resilient, and adaptable. The emotional toll was significant, but Emily found strength in the shared camaraderie and purpose of the simulation team. Back on Earth, her company launched a global education initiative to inspire young people, especially girls and minorities, to pursue STEM careers. Emily frequently appeared at schools and community centers, sharing her story and encouraging curiosity and resilience. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, reaffirming her belief in the importance of representation and mentorship. Yet, not all news was positive. A rival company released a competing energy technology claiming faster deployment and lower costs. Media outlets seized on the rivalry, framing it as a dramatic showdown. The ensuing public debate put pressure on Emily and her team, who responded with data-driven comparisons and open dialogues about transparency and ethics in technology development. The challenge strengthened the team's resolve and unity. Midway through the chapter, Emily faced a crisis when a critical component for the Mars energy units failed during a pre-launch test. The failure delayed the mission and required a redesign under an accelerated timeline. The setback triggered intense stress and frustration, but also demonstrated the team's resilience and problem-solving abilities. Emily led daily meetings, encouraged cross-disciplinary brainstorming, and maintained clear communication with stakeholders. The successful resolution of the issue became a defining moment of leadership and collaboration. In a quiet moment, Emily reflected on how far she had come, from the lonely days of experimenting in a garage to commanding international projects at the frontier of human exploration. The journey was marked by moments of doubt, sacrifice, and unexpected joy. She acknowledged that success was never a straight line but a tapestry woven from perseverance, support, and vision. Toward the chapter's end, Emily received news that her mother's health had stabilized. This brought relief and a renewed sense of balance. Emily arranged a visit to Ashford, where she reconnected with family and old friends. The return home was both comforting and grounding, reminding her of the roots that shaped her resilience and empathy. The chapter closed with a milestone, the successful launch of the first Mars energy units aboard a SpaceX mission. Watching the rockets ascend into the sky, Emily felt a profound mixture of pride, hope, and anticipation. The technology she helped create would soon power humanity's first steps on another planet, turning science fiction into reality. Standing with Elon and the team, Emily looked up at the stars, envisioning a future illuminated not only by technology but by the human spirit's unyielding drive to explore, innovate, and connect across the cosmos. The weeks following the launch of the Mars energy units were a whirlwind of anticipation and intense monitoring. Emily and her team tracked every telemetry signal, analyzing data streaming back from orbit and, soon, from the Martian surface itself. Early readings were promising. The energy converters were performing beyond expectations, maintaining stable power output despite the planet's notorious dust storms and temperature fluctuations. The success brought a surge of optimism throughout the space exploration community and reaffirmed Emily's belief in the power of perseverance and innovation. However, the challenges of space exploration quickly made themselves known. The Martian environment proved unpredictable. Unexpected electrical anomalies and system strain during dust storm cycles required rapid response and adaptation. Emily spearheaded a round-the-clock task force to troubleshoot these issues, collaborating with software engineers, planetary scientists, and mission controllers across multiple continents. The experience underscored the importance of flexibility and resilience. Not just in technology, but in teams and leadership. On Earth, the project's success captured the public's imagination. Media outlets broadcast images and stories of the Mars mission, often highlighting Emily's role. She became a symbol of hope and progress, inspiring young people worldwide. Yet with fame came scrutiny and criticism. Some questioned the ethics of space colonization and the prioritization of resources for extraterrestrial projects over pressing terrestrial issues. Emily welcomed these conversations, engaging openly and advocating for a balanced approach that recognized the interconnectedness of Earth and space. Amid the public discourse, Emily found strength in her core mission, to develop technology that empowered humanity to thrive, whether on Earth or beyond. In parallel, her Earth-based energy company continued to expand its reach into underserved communities, creating jobs and improving quality of life. Emily remained involved in these efforts, visiting project sites, listening to beneficiaries, and ensuring that social impact stayed central to the company's vision. The juxtaposition of life on two fronts, Earth and space, offered rich perspective and motivation. During a rare moment of downtime, Emily attended a symposium on planetary ethics and sustainable exploration. Discussions ranged from resource extraction rights to preserving potential Martian ecosystems. These complex issues reinforced her commitment to responsible innovation. Emily proposed a framework emphasizing transparency, international cooperation, and environmental stewardship, which was met with broad support. On a personal level, the journey was taxing. Sleep was often sacrificed to meetings, simulations, and public engagements. Relationships outside of work grew strained, and Emily grappled with moments of loneliness and self-doubt. She confided in Rachel Brooks, who reminded her of the importance of balance and self-care. Together, they crafted strategies for managing stress and maintaining perspective, including mindfulness practices and regular unplugged time. Emily also reconnected with Lisa Hernandez, whose legal expertise became invaluable in navigating intellectual property issues and international regulations tied to the Mars project. Their friendship deepened through mutual respect and shared purpose. Meanwhile, the energy units on Mars began powering initial habitat modules, enabling astronauts to conduct longer missions with greater autonomy. Emily participated in virtual briefings with astronauts, hearing firsthand about the system's performance and challenges faced on the ground. These conversations humanized the technology and reinforced its significance. As the project evolved, Emily confronted difficult decisions regarding scaling production and resource allocation. Balancing innovation with operational efficiency required strategic foresight and sometimes hard compromises. She worked closely with finance and operations teams to ensure sustainable growth without sacrificing quality or ethics. Unexpectedly, a new opportunity arose when a leading international space agency proposed a joint mission to build a sustainable energy grid on the lunar surface, complementing the Mars project. Emily saw this as a chance to expand impact and foster global collaboration. Negotiations were complex, requiring diplomacy and vision, but ultimately resulted in a historic partnership that blended resources and expertise from multiple countries. The announcement sparked renewed enthusiasm and positioned Emily as a key figure in the emerging global space infrastructure network. Toward the chapter's close, Emily reflected on the arc of her journey. The girl who once tinkered with gadgets in her Ashford garage had become a catalyst for human progress at the frontier of exploration. The path had been fraught with setbacks, sacrifices, and moments of profound doubt, yet also filled with breakthroughs, connections, and purpose. Emily understood that the work was far from finished. The challenges ahead would demand even greater innovation, resilience, and humility. Standing beneath a night sky sparkling with stars, Emily felt a deep sense of gratitude and resolve. Her story was part of a larger human narrative, one defined by curiosity, courage, and the relentless pursuit of a better tomorrow, on Earth and beyond. As the Mars energy units continued to operate successfully, Emily's focus shifted toward long-term sustainability and expansion of extraterrestrial energy networks. The initial deployments had proved the concept, but scaling these systems to support larger habitats, scientific outposts, and eventually commercial ventures would require innovations in modularity, efficiency, and maintenance. Emily spearheaded efforts to develop self-repairing materials and autonomous diagnostic software, envisioning energy units that could adapt to changing environmental conditions and minimize human intervention. This phase demanded close collaboration with artificial intelligence specialists, robotics engineers, and materials scientists. The interdisciplinary nature of the work energized Emily, who thrived on solving complex problems through teamwork and innovation. One breakthrough came when the team successfully integrated machine learning algorithms capable of predicting system failures before they occurred. This predictive maintenance technology dramatically increased reliability and reduced downtime, a critical factor for missions where manual repairs could be dangerous or impossible. Emily championed transparency and ethical use of AI within the project, advocating for algorithms that were explainable and aligned with mission goals and safety standards. Meanwhile, the company's Earth-based clean energy initiatives gained momentum, with new partnerships emerging in developing countries. Emily balanced her time between the space project and company leadership, aware that both efforts were deeply interconnected. Her vision extended beyond technology to encompass education, empowerment, and social justice. She launched scholarship programs to nurture young scientists from underserved communities, emphasizing that the future of innovation depended on diversity and inclusion. The public response was overwhelmingly positive, and Emily found fulfillment in mentoring the next generation of thinkers and doers. On the international front, Emily participated in high-level discussions about space governance and resource sharing. She advocated for frameworks that promoted cooperation, sustainability, and respect for potential extraterrestrial life. These conversations were challenging, often involving conflicting national interests and complex legal questions. Yet, Emily's diplomatic skills and commitment to ethical principles helped build bridges and foster mutual understanding. The pressure of these responsibilities weighed heavily, however. Emily grappled with fatigue and moments of isolation, finding solace in brief escapes to nature and quiet reflection. She drew strength from memories of her family and the values instilled in her from a young age: curiosity, kindness, and resilience. A particularly emotional episode occurred when Emily visited a remote village powered by the Earth-based energy converter. Meeting families whose lives had transformed, children studying under electric light, entrepreneurs launching small businesses, reinforced her sense of purpose. These encounters reminded her that the impact of her work was deeply human and tangible. Back in the lab, a new challenge emerged: integrating energy systems with life support and habitat infrastructure for Mars colonies. This required innovative solutions to balance power demands, environmental controls, and safety. Emily's team experimented with bio-inspired designs and energy recycling techniques, pushing the boundaries of what was technologically feasible. Progress was steady but hard-won, marked by both triumphs and setbacks. During a critical review, Emily faced tough questions from stakeholders concerned about cost overruns and timelines. She responded with honesty and a clear plan to manage risks and optimize resources. Her transparency earned respect, though it underscored the high stakes involved. Relationships within the project team deepened, characterized by trust and shared commitment. Emily encouraged open communication and collaborative problem-solving, fostering a culture where innovation thrived despite pressure. The chapter also explored Emily's evolving personal life. Amid the demanding schedule, she reconnected with an old college friend, David Collins, whose calm demeanor and shared passion for science provided a grounding influence. Their friendship grew gradually, offering Emily moments of joy and normalcy outside the high-stakes world of space exploration. This connection reminded her of the importance of balance and human connection. As the chapter drew to a close, Emily stood on the observation deck of the lunar base prototype, gazing at the Earth rising over the horizon. The view was breathtaking, a fragile blue orb suspended in the vastness of space. In that moment, Emily felt the weight and wonder of her journey. The work was far from complete, but the path forward was illuminated by hope, determination, and the shared dreams of countless individuals striving to expand the boundaries of human possibility. Her story was a testament to what could be achieved when vision met perseverance, and when technology served not only exploration but also the enduring values of compassion and stewardship. As Emily's work on extraterrestrial energy systems advanced, an unexpected challenge emerged that would test her leadership and resilience like never before. A catastrophic solar storm, an intense burst of solar radiation, was forecasted to impact the Martian energy grids, threatening to disable critical systems and jeopardize the safety of astronauts on the surface. The warning came with little time to prepare, forcing Emily and her team into a rapid response mode. Emergency protocols were activated, and mission control centers worldwide coordinated efforts to protect infrastructure and safeguard human life. The situation was tense. The solar storm's intensity was among the strongest ever recorded, with the potential to overwhelm shielding technologies and cause cascading failures. Emily's mind raced through contingency plans as she liaised with engineers, scientists, and space agencies. The gravity of the moment was palpable. Communication channels buzzed with updates, problem-solving, and urgent decisions. Emily's leadership was crucial in maintaining focus and morale. She emphasized transparency, keeping the public informed about risks and mitigation strategies, which helped prevent panic and misinformation. The storm hit with full force, causing widespread disruptions. Some energy units experienced temporary outages, while backup systems activated to maintain critical functions. The team monitored radiation levels and system performance continuously, ready to intervene remotely if needed. The event exposed vulnerabilities in existing designs, prompting rapid innovation to enhance resilience. Emily spearheaded a task force to develop advanced shielding materials and adaptive energy rerouting algorithms. These solutions aimed not only to withstand future solar storms but also to improve overall system robustness. The crisis forged stronger bonds among team members, highlighting the importance of trust, communication, and shared purpose in overcoming adversity. Simultaneously, Emily grappled with personal reflections triggered by the near catastrophe. She pondered the fragility of human endeavors in the face of cosmic forces and the profound responsibility of pioneering life beyond Earth. These thoughts deepened her commitment to ethical innovation and interplanetary stewardship. The experience became a catalyst for broader discussions on space weather forecasting, emergency preparedness, and international collaboration. Emily advocated for establishing a global monitoring network and coordinated response protocols, emphasizing that space exploration was a shared human enterprise transcending national boundaries. On Earth, the solar storm also affected terrestrial infrastructure, albeit less severely. Emily's company worked swiftly to reinforce vulnerable energy grids and assist affected communities, demonstrating the interconnectedness of space and Earth systems. The dual response highlighted the need for integrated approaches to energy resilience. Amid the crisis, Emily received heartfelt messages from young people inspired by her work, expressing hope and determination despite uncertainties. These gestures provided emotional sustenance and reinforced the significance of her mission. Following the storm's subsidence, Emily organized a comprehensive review of lessons learned, involving diverse experts and stakeholders. The findings informed updated protocols, design standards, and research priorities. Emily's leadership during the crisis earned recognition from scientific organizations and governments, yet she remained focused on the work ahead rather than accolades. As normalcy returned, Emily renewed her efforts to expand educational outreach. She launched a virtual space exploration academy, offering interactive courses and mentorship to students worldwide. The program aimed to democratize access to knowledge and inspire future innovators. Emily's personal journey continued to evolve. Her relationship with David deepened, providing a source of comfort and joy amid professional demands. They shared moments of quiet reflection, supporting each other's aspirations and challenges. This balance of personal connection and professional purpose enriched Emily's resilience and perspective. Toward the chapter's end, Emily visited a newly established lunar research station powered by the upgraded energy systems. Walking through the habitat modules, she observed astronauts conducting experiments and living sustainably in an alien environment. The scene was a powerful testament to human ingenuity and the collaborative spirit that made it possible. Standing beneath the stark lunar sky, Emily contemplated the broader meaning of exploration, not merely as conquest or achievement, but as a profound expression of curiosity, humility, and hope. Her vision extended beyond technology to encompass a future where humanity embraced responsibility for itself, its home planet, and the cosmos. The chapter closed with Emily addressing an international space summit, sharing insights from the solar storm crisis and advocating for a unified approach to the challenges and opportunities of space settlement. Her words resonated widely, inspiring renewed commitment to cooperation, innovation, and ethical stewardship. In this moment, Emily embodied the synthesis of scientist, leader, and visionary, a beacon guiding humanity toward a future shaped by both intellect and heart. The aftermath of the solar storm crisis brought a renewed sense of purpose and urgency to Emily's work, but it also revealed the deep complexities involved in expanding humanity's footprint beyond Earth. While the energy systems continued to improve, a new debate emerged around the ethical implications of colonizing other planets. Some critics argued that resources should focus on solving Earth's mounting problems, climate change, poverty, inequality, before investing billions in space exploration. Emily understood these concerns deeply. Her roots and values were grounded in improving lives here on Earth. Yet she believed that space exploration and Earth stewardship were not mutually exclusive but intertwined endeavors. She began to articulate a philosophy that exploration was essential to human survival and inspiration, while sustainability must remain paramount. This perspective guided her increasingly influential role as a spokesperson and thought leader. The tension between Earth-first advocates and space exploration proponents played out in public forums, government hearings, and media outlets. Emily engaged in these debates with candor and empathy, striving to bridge divides rather than deepen them. She emphasized that technological advances from space projects often yielded solutions for terrestrial challenges: clean energy, advanced materials, telecommunications, and that collaboration, not competition, was key. Internally, Emily faced pressure from investors and political stakeholders eager for quick returns and visible milestones. Balancing these expectations with scientific rigor and ethical considerations required diplomatic skill and personal conviction. She advocated for long-term vision and integrity, even when unpopular or financially risky. Meanwhile, her team pushed forward on groundbreaking projects integrating renewable energy with life support systems, water recycling, and habitat construction. The complexity of these systems tested every aspect of engineering and human factors design. Emily encouraged a culture of innovation balanced with humility, recognizing that failure was part of progress and that adaptability was critical in unknown environments. A turning point came when a prototype energy habitat module passed rigorous field tests in Antarctica, simulating extreme conditions akin to Mars. The success validated years of research and cemented confidence among stakeholders. Emily took the opportunity to spotlight the parallels between extreme Earth environments and space, reinforcing the value of cross-disciplinary learning. At the same time, Emily expanded her educational outreach, partnering with universities and nonprofit organizations to create scholarships, internships, and research grants focused on space technology and sustainability. She personally mentored promising young scientists and engineers, many from underrepresented backgrounds, nurturing diversity in the field. This work fulfilled her desire to create lasting impact beyond her immediate projects. On the personal front, Emily and David's relationship blossomed amid the challenges and triumphs. They supported each other through intense work cycles and celebrated milestones together. Their conversations often explored big questions about purpose, legacy, and the future of humanity, reflecting a shared passion for meaning beyond success. Yet, balancing love and ambition was not without tension. Emily grappled with guilt over time away from family and occasional burnout. She leaned on her support network, including Rachel and Lisa, who offered wisdom and grounding. In a moment of reflection, Emily revisited her hometown of Ashford. Walking familiar streets and reconnecting with childhood friends and family, she felt a deep sense of continuity and growth. The visit reinforced her understanding that her journey was part of a broader human story, rooted in community, memory, and hope. The chapter also explored the evolving dynamics within Emily's company, which was rapidly growing to meet new demands. Organizational challenges emerged, including maintaining culture, managing talent, and ensuring ethical governance. Emily worked closely with her leadership team to implement transparent practices, inclusive policies, and innovation incentives. This internal strengthening supported the external mission. As space missions expanded, international collaboration intensified. Emily participated in diplomatic efforts to establish norms for resource utilization, environmental protection, and shared scientific goals on the Moon and Mars. These efforts laid groundwork for sustainable interplanetary governance. Toward the chapter's end, a breakthrough announcement electrified the community: the successful deployment of a fully autonomous energy grid on the Moon, powered by Emily's technology and managed by AI systems co-designed by her team. This achievement marked a historic milestone, demonstrating humanity's ability to create self-sustaining outposts beyond Earth. Emily's role in this success elevated her standing, yet she remained focused on the next frontier: expanding habitats, improving life support, and ensuring accessibility. Standing beneath the night sky at a launch event celebrating the lunar grid, Emily reflected on the intertwining paths of technology, ethics, and humanity. The journey was ongoing, filled with uncertainty and promise. Her story was no longer just her own but a tapestry woven from countless lives, dreams, and efforts united by a vision of a thriving future on Earth and among the stars. With resolve and humility, Emily prepared to lead through the challenges and opportunities ahead, knowing that every step forward was built on the courage to explore, the wisdom to care, and the hope to inspire. The lunar energy grid success opened new horizons for Emily and her team, yet it also exposed fresh challenges and opportunities that reshaped the mission's trajectory. With the Moon now powered sustainably, attention shifted toward creating permanent human settlements, a complex endeavor that required integrating energy, life support, infrastructure, and human psychology in extreme environments. Emily found herself at the forefront of multidisciplinary innovation, orchestrating collaborations between engineers, biologists, psychologists, and architects. The goal was ambitious: design habitats that not only sustained life but nurtured well-being and creativity in the harshness of space. Emily's leadership style evolved accordingly, emphasizing empathy, holistic thinking, and adaptive problem-solving. The team developed modular habitat units featuring artificial gravity simulators, advanced radiation shielding using lunar regolith, and green spaces with hydroponic gardens to provide fresh food and improve mental health. These innovations reflected a growing understanding that human factors were as critical as technology in space settlement success. During this period, Emily engaged deeply with the astronauts who would live and work in these environments, conducting interviews and simulations to incorporate their feedback into design improvements. These interactions humanized the project, reminding her daily that the technology served real people with hopes, fears, and dreams. The psychological dimension of space living became a central research focus. Emily collaborated with experts to develop virtual reality programs to alleviate isolation and maintain social connections with Earth. She also supported initiatives to train astronauts in resilience, conflict resolution, and creative expression, recognizing the importance of nurturing the whole person. Meanwhile, Earth-based projects expanded, with Emily's company launching community energy hubs that integrated solar, wind, and energy storage technologies inspired by lunar systems. These hubs provided reliable power to remote and underserved regions, demonstrating a symbiotic relationship between space innovation and terrestrial sustainability. Emily frequently visited these sites, drawing inspiration from the resilience and ingenuity of local communities. These trips reinforced her commitment to equity and social justice, shaping company policies and philanthropic efforts. Internationally, Emily participated in drafting agreements for lunar resource utilization, advocating for principles that balanced exploration, commercial interests, and environmental stewardship. The negotiations were complex and sometimes contentious, but Emily's diplomatic approach helped foster consensus. She emphasized transparency, shared benefits, and respect for potential lunar ecosystems, embodying the ethic of responsible exploration. On the personal front, Emily faced new challenges balancing her expanding responsibilities with relationships and self-care. She and David deepened their partnership, navigating the complexities of public life and private moments. Their mutual support provided stability amid professional demands, though the tension between ambition and intimacy remained a delicate dance. Emily also renewed contact with her family, striving to repair strained bonds and nurture connections that grounded her identity. The chapter highlighted moments of vulnerability and growth, illustrating that leadership and innovation were intertwined with emotional intelligence and authenticity. A pivotal event occurred when a simulated habitat trial in a remote desert tested new life support and energy systems under extreme conditions. Emily led the mission control team, coordinating with on-site participants facing physical and psychological stressors. The trial revealed unforeseen challenges, equipment malfunctions, interpersonal tensions, and health issues, prompting rapid adaptations. Emily's calm decisiveness and inclusive leadership fostered problem-solving and morale, underscoring her evolution as a leader who embraced complexity and uncertainty. The data and experiences from the trial informed critical refinements to habitat design and operational protocols. These improvements advanced the readiness for actual lunar and Martian deployments, marking a tangible step toward sustainable human presence beyond Earth. As the chapter closed, Emily addressed a global conference on space settlement, sharing insights from the Habitat Project and advocating for a human-centered approach to exploration. Her message resonated: technology must serve not only survival but also human flourishing. She called for continued investment in interdisciplinary research, ethical governance, and education to prepare society for the profound transformations ahead. Standing on a stage illuminated by the glow of screens displaying lunar landscapes and habitat designs, Emily felt a profound connection to the vast human enterprise unfolding. The journey from a curious girl in Ashford tinkering with gadgets to a visionary leader shaping humanity's future among the stars was a testament to perseverance, collaboration, and hope. Her story was far from over, but the path was clear: to explore with courage, innovate with compassion, and inspire with purpose. The momentum built by the successful lunar habitat trials propelled Emily and her team into a new era of space exploration that blended cutting-edge technology with profound human insight. The mission shifted focus toward Mars, where the challenges were exponentially greater but the potential for discovery and expansion even more compelling. Emily's vision was clear: to create a self-sustaining Martian colony that could serve as a beacon of hope and ingenuity for all humanity. The transition to Mars involved navigating harsh environmental extremes, lower gravity, a thin atmosphere, intense radiation, and vast distances from Earth that complicated logistics and communication. Each of these factors required novel solutions and rigorous testing. Emily fostered an atmosphere of fearless innovation, encouraging her team to think beyond conventional limits. One of the early breakthroughs came from collaboration with planetary geologists who identified natural lava tubes beneath the Martian surface as ideal locations for habitats. These underground caverns offered protection from radiation and temperature fluctuations, reducing the need for heavy shielding and making construction more feasible. Emily's engineering teams rapidly adapted habitat designs to fit these natural shelters, integrating energy systems, life support, and living spaces into cavernous environments that combined safety with a touch of Martian mystery. The energy units were upgraded to harness not only solar power but also geothermal energy from Mars' residual internal heat, a pioneering approach that promised greater sustainability. As designs progressed, Emily coordinated with international space agencies and private partners to plan the logistics of transporting materials, equipment, and personnel. The sheer complexity of these missions demanded unprecedented coordination, resilience, and flexibility. Emily's leadership was critical in aligning diverse stakeholders, balancing ambitious goals with realistic risk management. Training programs for astronauts evolved to prepare them for both technical tasks and psychological challenges. Emily worked closely with behavioral scientists to develop comprehensive support systems addressing isolation, stress, and conflict in confined environments. Virtual reality simulations, peer support networks, and mindfulness practices were incorporated into training regimens, reflecting a holistic approach to astronaut well-being. The psychological dimension of long-duration space missions fascinated Emily, who saw it as a frontier as important as any physical challenge. She championed research into human adaptation and creativity, believing these elements would define the success of future colonies. Meanwhile, Earth-based applications of Martian research flourished. Technologies developed for habitat construction, energy efficiency, and health monitoring found use in remote and disaster-stricken areas on Earth. Emily's company expanded partnerships with NGOs and governments to deploy these innovations where they were needed most, bridging the gap between extraterrestrial exploration and terrestrial benefit. On the diplomatic stage, Emily navigated delicate negotiations regarding Mars resources and governance. Her insistence on transparency, equity, and environmental stewardship helped establish guidelines that balanced exploration rights with shared human interests. These efforts underscored a growing recognition that space settlement was a collective human endeavor requiring cooperation over competition. As the chapter unfolded, tensions within Emily's personal life surfaced. The increasing demands of her work strained her relationship with David, whose own career and values sometimes conflicted with the relentless pace and public scrutiny Emily faced. They grappled with questions of sacrifice, priorities, and future plans. Their conversations, at times difficult and poignant, reflected the complexity of maintaining love amid ambition. Emily also revisited her connection with Rachel and Lisa, whose support and friendship provided a vital emotional anchor. These relationships highlighted the importance of community and vulnerability in sustaining leadership. A dramatic turning point occurred when the first crewed Mars mission faced unexpected technical failures shortly after arrival. Critical life support systems faltered due to unforeseen dust storms that disrupted solar arrays and communication links. The crew's safety was at stake, and remote troubleshooting became a race against time. Emily led mission control with unwavering focus, coordinating teams across the globe to devise solutions and provide real-time support. The crisis tested every protocol and relationship built over years. Miraculously, through ingenuity, collaboration, and determination, the crew stabilized their habitat and restored essential functions. The relief was profound, and the event became a defining moment in space exploration history. The episode reinforced Emily's belief in resilience, not only of technology but of human spirit and cooperation. As the chapter closed, Emily reflected on the lessons learned, the importance of humility before nature's unpredictability, the power of diverse expertise united by a common purpose, and the imperative to prepare comprehensively for the unknown. She shared these insights at a global summit, inspiring renewed commitment to thoughtful, ethical exploration. Standing beneath a red Martian sky, watching dust swirl over the horizon through a live feed from the colony, Emily felt the weight and wonder of her journey. From Ashford's quiet streets to the forefront of human expansion into the cosmos, her story was one of courage, compassion, and unyielding hope, a story still being written with every challenge met and every horizon crossed. The stabilization of the Martian colony marked a turning point that reverberated far beyond the red planet. Emily's vision was no longer a distant dream but a tangible reality, sparking a surge of excitement, innovation, and reflection throughout Earth and the burgeoning space community. The success energized governments, private companies, and young minds worldwide, eager to participate in the next great chapter of human history. Yet with achievement came new challenges, questions about the colony's long-term sustainability, governance, and the ethical responsibilities that accompanied humanity's footprint on another world. Emily found herself at the nexus of these complex conversations, striving to ensure that progress was guided by wisdom as well as ambition. Back on Earth, Emily expanded her educational initiatives, recognizing that inspiring the next generation was vital to sustaining the momentum. She launched a global digital platform offering immersive courses in space science, engineering, and environmental ethics, accessible to students regardless of geography or background. The platform featured interactive simulations, mentorship programs, and collaborative projects, fostering a vibrant community united by curiosity and purpose. Emily personally contributed to workshops and live sessions, sharing lessons learned and encouraging young innovators to dream boldly while thinking critically. The platform became a hub for creativity and dialogue, with participants proposing novel solutions to challenges both on Earth and beyond. Meanwhile, research continued to deepen understanding of Martian ecosystems, human physiology in reduced gravity, and the psychological impact of prolonged isolation. Emily collaborated with universities and research institutes, promoting interdisciplinary studies that integrated technology with social sciences and humanities. This holistic approach aimed to prepare humanity not only to survive but to thrive in extraterrestrial environments. A particularly inspiring development was the establishment of a Martian cultural center within the colony, envisioned as a space for artistic expression, community gathering, and celebration of human diversity. Emily championed this initiative, believing that culture and creativity were essential elements of human identity and resilience. The center's design incorporated natural light simulations, communal gardens, and virtual connection hubs to Earth, emphasizing the importance of social bonds and emotional well-being. On the policy front, Emily participated in drafting the Mars Charter, a groundbreaking document outlining principles for responsible exploration, resource use, and environmental preservation. The charter emphasized respect for potential indigenous ecosystems, equitable participation of nations and peoples, and mechanisms for conflict resolution. Emily's diplomacy skills were tested as she negotiated among diverse interests, but her commitment to fairness and transparency helped build broad consensus. The charter was hailed as a model for future space governance, reflecting a new era of cooperative stewardship. Despite these advances, Emily confronted the realities of maintaining balance in her personal life. The relentless pace of work and public scrutiny strained her relationship with David, who struggled to reconcile his own ambitions and values with Emily's high-profile role. Their conversations often touched on sacrifice, identity, and the meaning of success. Ultimately, They faced the difficult decision to prioritize individual growth while cherishing their bond, acknowledging that love sometimes meant letting go. Emily also deepened friendships with Rachel and Lisa, whose unwavering support and candid counsel provided solace amid uncertainty. Their shared history and mutual care underscored the importance of connection beyond professional achievements. A surprising twist emerged when a group of young activists, inspired by Emily's educational platform, organized a global campaign advocating for space exploration that prioritized planetary protection and sustainability. Their grassroots movement challenged some established narratives, calling for transparency, ethical reflection, and inclusive decision-making. Emily embraced the dialogue, viewing it as a vital part of a healthy, evolving community. She engaged openly with the activists, incorporating their perspectives into policy discussions and educational content. This collaboration reinvigorated Emily's belief in the power of diverse voices shaping humanity's future. The chapter's climax arrived with the announcement of the first interplanetary scientific collaboration involving Mars, Earth, and orbiting stations. The initiative pooled resources, knowledge, and talent from multiple countries and organizations to conduct ambitious experiments on biology, geology, and technology. Emily's company played a central role in providing energy and infrastructure support. The collaboration symbolized the potential of unity in facing cosmic challenges and exploring new frontiers. As the chapter closed, Emily stood before a gathering of international leaders, scientists, students, and citizens connected through virtual platforms. She spoke about the intertwined journeys of exploration and self-discovery, the lessons of humility and hope, and the responsibility to steward not only planets but each other. Her words resonated deeply, inspiring a renewed commitment to dream boldly, act ethically, and build a future where humanity thrived in harmony with the universe. Gazing up at the night sky, Emily felt the profound interconnectedness of all things, the fragile blue planet below, the red dust of Mars afar, and the endless stars beyond. Her story was a testament to courage, compassion, and the enduring human spirit, a story still unfolding with every step into the unknown. As the Martian colony matured and Earth's engagement with space deepened, Emily found herself reflecting on the profound transformations underway, not only in technology and exploration but within herself. The journey that began with curiosity and determination had evolved into a multifaceted mission blending science, ethics, leadership, and human connection. Yet the weight of responsibility grew heavier with each success and new horizon. The challenges of ensuring the colony's resilience, navigating political complexities, and fostering a culture of inclusion required constant vigilance and adaptability. Emily embraced these demands, but also recognized the importance of pause and reflection. She began dedicating time to personal retreats in nature, seeking solitude to reconnect with her roots and values. These moments renewed her clarity and strength, reminding her that progress was not merely about milestones but about meaning. Meanwhile, the colony itself became a vibrant community, with settlers from diverse backgrounds bringing unique skills, traditions, and aspirations. Emily supported initiatives that celebrated cultural exchange and mutual respect, fostering an environment where innovation was fueled by diversity and empathy. Education and health programs flourished, leveraging telemedicine and AI tutors, ensuring that every individual had opportunities to grow and contribute. The technological marvels of the colony, self-repairing structures, AI-driven agriculture, and immersive communication, were matched by the human stories of resilience, creativity, and hope. Emily took great pride in these developments, seeing them as a testament to collective effort and shared dreams. Yet not all challenges were external. Ethical dilemmas surfaced regarding the use of advanced AI in decision-making and the preservation of autonomy and privacy within the close-knit colony. Emily convened panels of experts, settlers, and ethicists to navigate these issues transparently. She advocated for a framework balancing innovation with human dignity, emphasizing accountability and continuous dialogue. These debates enriched the colony's governance and reflected broader questions facing humanity as technology advanced. On Earth, Emily's work expanded to address climate change and environmental restoration, leveraging technologies refined through space exploration. Her company partnered with governments and NGOs to deploy large-scale renewable energy projects, carbon capture initiatives, and sustainable agriculture innovations. Emily saw this as a fulfillment of her early commitment to improving life on Earth even as humanity reached for the stars. Her efforts were recognized globally, but she remained grounded, aware that true impact required ongoing dedication and humility. A poignant personal development unfolded as Emily reconnected with her mother after years of distance. Their relationship, once strained by past conflicts and misunderstandings, began healing through honest conversations and shared experiences. This reconciliation brought Emily deep emotional insight, enriching her capacity for empathy and forgiveness. She found renewed strength in family bonds, recognizing their role as an anchor amid the vastness of her endeavors. The chapter also explored Emily's evolving public role, balancing visibility with authenticity. She became a sought-after speaker, writer, and mentor, using her platform to amplify voices often unheard and to promote inclusive, ethical visions of the future. Despite the pressures, Emily prioritized self-care practices, meditation, art, and time with loved ones, that sustained her well-being and creativity. A dramatic event tested the colony's resilience when a solar flare threatened to disrupt critical systems and communications. Preparedness plans were enacted swiftly, and the colony's redundant systems absorbed much of the impact. Nevertheless, the crisis underscored the fragility of human presence beyond Earth and the necessity of continuous vigilance and innovation. Emily coordinated response efforts with calm determination, reaffirming her commitment to safety and adaptability. The successful navigation of this threat galvanized the community, deepening bonds and collective resolve. Toward the chapter's close, Emily participated in a symposium envisioning humanity's next steps in space, exploration of icy moons, asteroid mining, and interstellar research. These visionary discussions inspired a new generation of scientists, engineers, and dreamers. Emily's message was clear: the future belonged to those who dared to imagine, collaborate, and act with conscience and courage. Standing beneath a sky filled with satellites and stars, Emily contemplated the intertwined paths of her life. The girl genius who once dreamed in a small town, the leader guiding humanity's expansion, and the human being continually learning and growing. Her story was a mosaic of challenge and triumph, connection and solitude, science and spirit. As she looked forward to the final chapter of her journey, Emily knew that the greatest discoveries lay not just in distant worlds, but in the depths of human potential and compassion. The final chapter of Emily's journey was not defined by a single event but by the profound legacy she forged through years of relentless pursuit, vision, and heart. As she stood at the crossroads of past achievements and future possibilities, Emily reflected deeply on what her story meant, not just to herself, but to all who dared to dream beyond the familiar. The Martian colony had evolved into a flourishing outpost of humanity, a symbol of cooperation, resilience, and hope that inspired billions. Yet Emily understood that true success lay beyond technological marvels or political agreements. It was in the people, their stories, struggles, and triumphs, that her work found meaning. Throughout the years, Emily had championed a human-centered approach to space exploration, one that honored curiosity, creativity, and ethical responsibility. This philosophy guided every decision, from habitat designs that nurtured well-being to governance frameworks that emphasized equity and transparency. The colony's culture blossomed into a vibrant tapestry where science and art, innovation and tradition, individuality and community thrived in harmony. Emily's personal journey mirrored this evolution. She had grown from a determined, curious girl into a visionary leader whose strength was rooted in empathy, humility, and authenticity. The relationships she nurtured, with family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers inspired by her story, were her greatest treasures. These bonds sustained her through moments of doubt and exhaustion, reminding her of the shared humanity that connected Earth and the stars. In this chapter, Emily took time to document her experiences, lessons, and hopes in a memoir intended to inspire future generations. Her writing was candid and heartfelt, weaving technical insights with personal reflections, challenges with moments of joy. She emphasized the power of perseverance, the importance of embracing failure as a teacher, and the necessity of nurturing both mind and spirit. Emily also spoke openly about the sacrifices made, the complexities of leadership, and the need for ongoing dialogue about the ethical dimensions of exploration. The memoir quickly became a beacon for those yearning to understand the human side of space science, bridging gaps between experts and the public, inspiring educators, students, and dreamers alike. Meanwhile, the colony celebrated milestones, births, artistic achievements, scientific breakthroughs, that underscored the emergence of a new human civilization beyond Earth. Emily participated in ceremonies and cultural events that honored these moments, finding joy and gratitude in the shared journey. She advocated for continuous learning and adaptation, recognizing that the future was a dynamic interplay of challenges and possibilities. A poignant moment arrived when Emily received a message from a young girl on Earth who had followed her journey closely. The girl expressed how Emily's story had sparked her own dreams and determination, reminding Emily of the ripple effects of her work across generations and geographies. This message reinforced Emily's commitment to education and mentorship as pillars of lasting impact. The chapter also addressed the broader implications of space settlement for humanity's identity and purpose. Emily engaged with philosophers, artists, and spiritual leaders to explore questions of meaning, belonging, and stewardship in a cosmos that was at once vast and intimate. These dialogues enriched the colony's cultural life and deepened Emily's understanding of exploration as both an outer and inner journey. As Emily looked toward the horizon, new frontiers beckoned, interstellar probes, deeper studies of cosmic phenomena, and the potential for encountering life beyond Earth. She approached these prospects with a blend of excitement and reverence, emphasizing the need for ethical reflection and humility. The final scenes of the chapter portrayed Emily gazing at the Earthrise from the colony's observation deck, a moment filled with awe and connection. She reflected on the intertwined destinies of Earth and space, the delicate beauty of home, and the boundless possibilities of human spirit. The story closed with Emily's hopeful message, that life is full of surprises, but love, curiosity, and responsibility will always lead the way. Her journey was a testament to the power of dreams realized through perseverance, collaboration, and compassion, a story that would continue to inspire as humanity stepped boldly into the future. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?